Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And before we get into all the Week 6 recaps, let's talk about what happened yesterday on Monday with all this news that broke. Let's begin with the Sunday night football, Sunday night fight, because that's really what it was. We get to the end of the game. Chiefs beat the Lions, spoiler, in Arrowhead. And the Chiefs are in victory formation. They kneel it out. Brian Branch, who's very calm, he's a very calm person. He never lets his emotions get the best of him. But in this case, he did. Typically, what happens when you get to these kneel formations, everyone's dapping each other up. They're saying, like, oh, how's the family? How's this? How's that? All these things are going on. Brian Branch is close to Mahomes, so Mahomes says, oh, let's dap up. Brian Branch wants nothing to do with it, so Mahomes kind of just hits him in the back of the jersey a little bit. I don't know if Juju Smith-Schuster said something, because Juju is the last guy on the victory formation, so he's the furthest back. Someone said something, maybe frustration during the game. Something happened. Brian Branch shoves Juju's head back. Immediately grabbed, pull him away from Juju, from Smith-Schuster, which, by the way, yeah, at least Smith-Schuster made the right call. Keep your helmet on. Because if you are going to get punched, keep your helmet on so if he hits you, he hits the helmet so he hurts himself over hitting your head. But anyway, Juju comes back. He gets swung down to the ground. I don't know what happened exactly. If there was a couple punches being thrown. Juju Smith-Schuster breaks his nose. There's blood everywhere. There's all kinds of stuff is going on. Now, both teams are just trying to separate these two athletes, and they eventually do. Which, again, props to the NFL for handling it the way they handle it. We'll get into that in 1 second. But the way, and I have to say this, the way the Lions Dan Campbell, the head coach Dan Campbell, handled this was best. He went to the press conference. He apologized to both Juju Smith-Schuster and to Brian Branch and to the Chiefs fans. He also apologized to them, saying, look, we're a tough team, we're a physical team, but we're not going to be a disrespectful and an unsportsmanlike team. And that's what happened, and we are deeply sorry for that. I'm not saying that changes anything. He got up there, he admitted to it, he got it out there. Now you're going to have to ask Brian to do the same thing, which could take some time because the NFL decided to suspend. The NFL typically fines you or suspends you on a Thursday or Friday. It's usually always Fridays, but I have seen some Thursdays. That's when they fine you. The NFL has made it clear they are not dealing with unsportsmanlike actions this year. They are not going to let this happen. You are not going to be unsportsmanlike. We saw that with Jalen Carter the first game of the year, where he spit on Dak Prescott. He was kicked out of the game, and that counted as his suspension. Brian Branch was unsportsmanlike, got suspended. That was it. The quickness, the NFL is trying to set a precedent. They were quick, they were decisive. They said, nope, suspension. They also want to make it so if he wanted to appeal, that he had time. But you really can't appeal this. This was on Sunday night. Nothing else is going on. There you go. So that's the first bit of news. The second bit of news happened later on that Monday when the Tennessee Titans revealed or announced that they were relieving/firing Brian Callahan, their head coach. Callahan, as a head coach, he only had a 23-game sample size, was 4-19. Yeah, he was not good. He should have been fired last year. He was not a good coach. And I went back and I was thinking about this. John Madden said this in a couple other places, but the only place I remember him saying it was, and he said, there's nothing worse than a phony. Players will see through a phony. He's talking about coaches. If you are a phony and you're not genuine, they'll see through it immediately. They're not saying you can't use other battle cries or sayings. No, they're saying they will see through a phony. And to me, Brian Callahan looked like a phony. He operated like a phony. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But he was operating like somebody else. He wasn't operating like Brian Callahan. And players see that. And they spot it right away. They can spot that. And they did. They spot immediately. And it was like, anytime you get rid of a coach, you're looking at, okay, who's the interim head coach? You want someone with some experience, but you want somebody who also has the ability to right the ship. Because you're not saying he needs to be a head coach of the future. You're not saying that right now. You're not saying we need to make the playoffs right now. You're saying, can we right the ship to the off season? That's what you're trying to accomplish. Just write it to the off season. So that's why these choices are so important. The choice that they made was Mike McCoy, former Chargers head coach. He's been an offensive coordinator in the NFL. He's been around. He's been around the block a few times. I'm not saying he's the best coach in the world, but for what you had to deal with and what you're going to deal with, he has experience with some young quarterbacks. This could work to, again, right the ship, navigate those rocky waters for now. And that's what he's accomplishing. That's what he has to accomplish. Again, he doesn't need to be a head coach of the future. He just needs to navigate the water. And that's what he's trying to do. This Titans team, is not very good, and they're not going anywhere fast. They're in a division that they're not going to be able to do so much at this point. You have to find a way to navigate it. You have a young quarterback in Cam Ward. You have a young team, a very talented team, but a very young team. You can do this. I also wonder, are they in fire sale mode? Are they going to part with some of these players? Because they have a lot of good players. Are they going to part with some of them? We'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if teams start calling them, former guys start texting them to see, am I available? Am I available? Am I getting sent out? What's going on? Like, they want to know. I wouldn't be shocked, because that's typically what happens when you fire a coach. That now it is a fire sale. Maybe that could happen. We'll see what happens here. Moving on to Thursday's game between the Eagles and Giants. The Giants winning the game, there's always going to be a chance that that's going to happen, that someone's going to win a game. That the team that you never expect is going to win the game. Like I said the Eagles were going to win. The Eagles were going to bounce back. It's not the fact that I'm shocked the Giants won. I'm shocked the Giants won the way they won. It was so definitive, so decisive, and it was bludgeoning, I guess is the best way I can put it. They were bludgeoning. They bludgeoned the Eagles. Jackson Dart, 195 yards, a touchdown. Cam Scatterbooth, 19 carries, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. He hit his head on the goalpost 3 times. Wan'Dale Robinson, 6 catches, 84 yards, a touchdown. This was a game, no Darius Slayton, no Malik Neighbors. He's gone. And the not. They were playing with little Jordan Humphrey and Theo Johnson at tight end. Like, this is not supposed to happen, which is why I'm concerned about the Eagles. Because it's not just the offense, it's the defense too. The game against Denver is the game I go back to. They have I don't know who they have, but they tackle him, he's down, third down, and for whatever reason, Zach Bond decides to forearm shiver him in the back of the neck and the back of the head, and gives him a personal foul. It extends the drive, and it's 15 yards. Why would you do that? It makes no sense. In this game, and for a lot of the games, the Eagles have not been good. They have not. Jalen Hurts, 283 yards, a touchdown. Saquon Barkley, 12 carries, 58 yards. Dallas Goedert, 9 catches, 110 yards, a touchdown. The only player who's playing really good with Jalen Hurts dropping back so many times is Dallas Goedert. Everyone else is not playing good. Every time it's happening. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. No way Saquon Barkley should only have 12 carries in a game. No way should he only have 58 yards in a game on the ground. That should never happen. And it's not just play calling, even though I do think the offensive coordinator changing the offensive coordinator so many times does not benefit anyone. But when you go and ask Jalen Hurts to drop back so many times, it's good. It is not good. It's not pleasant. They ran 4 tush pushes in a row to score a touchdown. 4. They are so bad that they ran 4 tush pushes in a row. In a row. That's awful. That should never happen. Period. I don't know what is going on. I know you played twice in 5 days. But come on. This is getting ridiculous. You can't be this bad. And they have a weird schedule. We mentioned this before. They have a weird schedule. If they do not, they play the Vikings, they play the Giants, twice in 3 weeks. They do the same thing with the Commanders. Twice in the last 3 weeks at the end of the year. They do the same thing. It's tough. You can't do that. But you can't be losing to these teams because you're 4-2. You're 4-2. You lost a game not just in conference but in division. That counts as more. You're lucky that both the Commanders and the Cowboys lost. We'll get into the Cowboys game in 1 second. But you're lucky they lost. So you're still 2 games ahead of them. But that could have been catastrophic if both those teams won. That could have been catastrophic. That cannot happen, period. Bryce Young, 199 yards, 3 touchdowns. Rico Dowdle, 30 carries, 183 yards. He also had 4 catches for 56 yards, a touchdown. He had 200 yards from scrimmage. Bryce Young had nearly 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. This is a guy who had 79 yards total on deep passes. He had 89 in this game. This defense is bad for the guy. It's really bad. In fact, it's historically awful. Go back to the 2020 year when everyone Cowboys fan says this is the worst defense in NFL history. Nope, it's not. It's not. Look at their stats through week 6. They were 25th, 27th, 28th in pretty much every statistical category on defense. Dallas this year is worse in every category. Except one with 2 yards difference. It's still worse. They're 28th, 30th, just 32nd in a lot of them. They are so bad. They can't get pressure. They can't stop the run, which is why you brought Kenny Clark here. They can't stop it. You can't stop the run. You can't stop the run. You can't stop the pass. Your coverage is terrible. Your linebackers are terrible. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they are doing. If I could, I'll figure out how to do it one day. I'll put a clip in. I'll put the clip in of what Donald Trump said about they don't know what they are doing. I'm not gonna curse on YouTube. I'm gonna do my best. But it's so bad defensively. Offensively, they looked good. I mean, besides the run game that only had 29 yards from Javonte Williams, they had a good pass game. Dak Prescott, 261, 3 touchdowns. George Pickens, 9 catches, 168 yards, a touchdown. They couldn't stop George Pickens. And yes, I know Schottenheimer was trying to run the football because that's what they want to do. They weren't able to in this game. They were not able to. And it caused problems for them. They kept trying to force it even though Pickens and Dak were playing great. Dak completed over 70% of his passes again, had 3 touchdowns again, played really well again. You cannot ask your quarterback and your star receiver to do more than that. You can't. It's not possible. They scored 27 points again. They scored high 20 points, and your defense gives up 30. It's not fair to them. The only stat the Cowboys defense is better in is points per game at this point, and that's because the Ravens have been so terrible. And that's not they're not 32nd in that category, but they're 31st in that category. They are awful. You can't win a game that way. They can't get pressure. They can't stop the run. They don't blitz. They blitzed 5 times against the Panthers. 5. The least amount since week 1, which is when the Cowboys did it against the Eagles. They can't do anything. Bryce Young was having a picnic back there. It was so bad. This defense can't stop a wet hanky at this point. They're so bad. The biggest point of this point of emphasis, and it's not just a personnel issue, it's a coaching issue as well. They don't fit each other. Let me explain why. 4th and 3, Panthers have the ball. If the Cowboys stop them, they have to go maybe 10, 15 yards and they can kick a field goal and win the game. That's all they have to do. 4th and 3. To the top of the screen, there's a tight receiver in the corner. The corner is pressing the receiver. And the slot at the bottom of the screen, they're pressing the receiver. For whatever reason, slot at the top of the screen and the bottom receiver, the receiver at the bottom of the screen are not pressed. I don't know why. I have no idea. But the Tyree Williams at the bottom, he's off by like 3 yards-ish, 3 or 4 yards. You have DaRon Bland, who's an all-pro corner, who's off by 5 yards on a 4th and 3. Hunter Renfrow is in the slot. Remember Hunter Renfrow? He runs a simple slant, catches it, picks up the first down. And you're asking, why is DaRon Bland doing that? He's an all-pro corner. He should try to put, but he is coached like that. What is supposed to happen in this play is very simple. If you're in that situation, now corner is supposed to press him so he can't get free. That's the idea. For whatever reason, he's playing off by 5 yards. That is because he's coached that way. As much as he knows it's not right, he's coached that way. Shouldn't happen, but he's coached that way. So is that linebacker in this game? He's covering. He has to cover 2 people. It's not fair. He has to. He has to cover the flat on the right tackle side, on the where there's more people on that side. There's 2 receivers there. He has to cover that flat route. He also has to cover that slant, that backside slant. He's not going to be able to do it because if he turns that way, he's got to then try to bolt the other way. He's not the fastest guy in the world. These were things that he's being asked to do. That's not realistic. Had you put DaRon Bland on him, actually pressed the receiver, or even just it was a yard difference or something like that, there's a chance. But why did he not? Because of this defense, the way they're coached. It's not just a scheme issue. It's not just a personnel issue. It's everything. And at some point, The Cowboys have to admit this. It's not working. Do something else. You ran zone 80% of the time against Bryce Young. He beat you. He torched you the entire game. You couldn't stop the run if you wanted to. He torched you. That was it. You have players. Trayvon Diggs announced it publicly, but I guarantee you have players on this team saying, hey, Flus, we need to run more man coverage. We run so much zone, it makes no sense. It's gotten better. It went from 94% to 85%, but it's not good enough. They need to run man coverage more. They have to do it more. There's no way. You're not good enough. Run some man coverage. What's the worst thing that could happen to you? You get beat? What's the worst thing? You're giving up 30 points anyway. You're giving up 40 points anyway. Who cares? Try something. Show me that you care. Show me that you care. Because at this point, it's getting embarrassing. Your quarterback and offense is putting up 27 points. Your defense cannot give up 30 every game. Your quarterback does not need to be perfect every game, but he has to be with this defense. It's not right. It's not right. There's more times you're not going to be perfect than going to be perfect. That's just the way life is. So the defense has to get ahead. It has to find a way to do something. They have to. They have to. Because it's not going to get easier. You're playing tougher teams down the stretch in this season. You played the Commanders. You're lucky they lost yesterday. You're lucky. You're lucky you're 2 games back miraculously. You're 2 games back. But this is awful. Get it together. Get it together. Next up, let's talk Rams and Ravens. The Rams winning this game 17-3. It was not an exciting game at all. Cooper Rush, 72 yards. That's right, 72 yards passing. They were bad. Not as bad as Tua had been at times, or in the case Justin Fields was this past week, but this was bad. 72 yards. Derrick Henry, 24 carries, 122 yards. Okay. Zay Flowers, 6 catches, 46 yards. Matthew Stafford, 181 yards, 1 touchdown. Kyron Williams, 13 carries, 50 yards, a touchdown. Higbee, 4 catches, 40 yards, a touchdown. Puka got injured in this game. Now he's going to miss some time. It was just not a great showing all around. It was raining, I know, but it was not a fun game at all. Not at all. It wasn't exciting at all. That's the best way I can describe it. This Ravens team isn't very good. They've dropped to 1-5. They can't do anything. I'm concerned about them. I know their schedule gets easier, but this isn't good. You have to hope Lamar Jackson comes back this week because you have no other option. Now with this team, okay, let's do the Patriots and Saints. The Patriots win the game 25-19. Drake May looks great, 261, 3 touchdowns. He also led them in rushing, 9 carries, 28 yards. Kayshon Boutte, 5 catches, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is what you want to see. Drake May improving and improving and improving and just doing some good things in general. And that's what they're doing. They're doing some nice things. Be aggressive, attack, go after it. Just go after it. And they did. You don't want your quarterback to lead you in rushing. That's not sustainable. And as much as I hate that, you did win the game. So I'll give it a pass for now, but figure out this run game. For the Saints, Spencer Rattler, 227, no touchdowns. Kamara had 10 carries, 31 yards. Olave, 6 catches, 98 yards. Not the best performance in the world, absolutely not. But they did look well. You know, it looks like Kellen Moore could be the guy. It looks like Spencer Rattler might be the guy. They need everything else. They're not great defensively. They're not great. They got some good pieces, but a lot of them are older guys. Mario Davis is an older guy. Cam Jordan is an older guy. Like, this is not a great team at this point. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a long road for sure. But you have to give props where props is due. The Patriots have won multiple games in a row, and now they're 4-2 and they're at the top of the AFC East. That's actually odd to say at this point. But they are at top of the AFC East. So there you go. Let's talk about this Lions-Chiefs game. 30-17 was the score. Mahomes, 257, 3 touchdowns. Pacheco, 12 carries, 51 yards. Kelsey, 6 catches, 78 yards. It looked better. It looked a lot better. It really did. There is and needs to be talk about, is this more against bad defense that is really banged up? Goff, 203, 2 touchdowns. Gibbs, 17 carries, 65 yards. Williams, 6 catches, 66 yards, a touchdown. So, again, not the best performance, but not a terrible performance. These things need to be ironed out a little bit. Am I concerned for the Lions? No, not yet. You went a month of winning. Like, a loss is gonna be inevitable at some point. So no, I'm not surprised. I did think it was gonna be more of a competitive game than this. I really did think that. Final game. Bills at Falcons. The Falcons winning this game 24-14. Penix, 250 yards, 1 touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 19 carries, 170 yards, a touchdown. Drake London, 10 catches, 158 yards, a touchdown. Before we get to the Bills stats, that just tells me this defense of the Bills is concerning. It's not good. It's not getting better. It's getting worse because the Falcons, they ran all over you. They threw all over you. They did everything they wanted. When I turned this game on, I turned on the other game between the Bears and Commanders. It was a 21-7, almost halftime at that point. But it was 21-7. It was bad. You're down 2 touchdowns against the Atlanta Falcons. Not great. You lost 2 games straight to lesser competition. Get it together. Your defense, if you're the Bills, is so bad at this point. It's not going to get better. Again, it's Josh Allen, save us, because we can't do anything. And anytime you see that with a team that is Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, it's not sustainable. It's really not that sustainable. And it's hard. It's hard to do that consistently. And they, again, were unable to do so. Josh Allen, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. James Cook, 17 carries, 87 yards. Joshua Palmer, 2 catches, 60 yards. We hope Joshua Palmer's okay. He was ruled out of this game. He was tackled awkwardly. He had an ankle injury. We hope he's all right. But the injuries amount to fear the Bills at this point. Names, not always, but they're key contributors. And now they're out. They're injured. You brought Josh to help your receiving core. Now he's out. Now he could miss. Hope it's not more serious than it actually should be, but you never know. With awkward tackling, it does happen. You're not a good enough team right now. You haven't played well. Your defense hasn't played well. You can't stop the run. You're asking Josh Allen to do more than he can do. At some point, you're gonna fall flat on your face. You have to figure this out. You have to figure this out. And that's all I can say about it. Not good enough performing for the last 2 weeks for the Buffalo Bills. But let me know in the comments who you have or how you recap this week. And also, is this the worst is the Cowboys defense the worst in NFL history? Let me know in the comments. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hebert. Out.